guys, it's Kate from Kate's Crafting Corner. It is the middle of the night, literally. It's like 3 a.m. and my surgery is in like 10 hours. I don't know. I'm trying to get these last ones done so then I can go to sleep. So then I don't need to talk any more than necessary. I can just edit videos tomorrow after surgery. If you missed the previous video, I'm having a tooth extracted and then I return to work the next day. So not fun. My husband and I went to the grocery store and we bought, and I will insert a couple of pictures here, all the Jell-O and okay, we bought two 12 packs of sugar-free Jell-O, 2 8-packs of sugar-free chocolate pudding, a couple dozen yogurts, a bunch of soup, noodles, everything that I could, and a ton of protein shakes and, like smoothie drinks, because, I'm having to go back to work. I can't eat a lot of anything. I think around the 3rd day I can start to eat like soft foods. So we got some mashed potatoes and that's where the noodles will come in. It'll be easy to just throw some chicken in for my husband serving and eat mine without chicken, because I'm not supposed to have chicken until like about a week after the surgery. And so, yeah, just trying to be prepared for that. So we did that. Had to get dog food. Sorry. Oh. And then, yeah, that's about it. So, well, we had dinner and then we watched a couple episodes of The Goldbergs. And, now I'm here to film this. So, and suddenly my nose is stuffed. Sorry, hopefully I edited that out and I didn't miss it in the editing process. But, okay, so if you watched the 2022 wrap-up video, I mentioned there that my husband got me a couple of yarn bowls, but I left them downstairs. So I'm just going to show them to you now. And so, this is the first one. I mean, it's just a simple yarn bowl. I now have, like 4, and I have a personalized one he got me that broke, and so he's gonna get me a replacement for that eventually, have my name on it. And then this one shaped like a teacup, and isn't it fantastic? I saw this at Hobby Lobby and I asked him to buy it for me and he was like, okay, go away. So I don't know if he went back to Hobby Lobby because I really didn't see him put it in the cart. And I was standing there at checkout. I unloaded that cart, but, yeah, it's even got like a little tea bag on the inside. Isn't this fantastic? And it's actually really useful having this part here, like to put, I've put like stitch markers there. I've put like the tag of the yarn there. I really love this one. It is nice and big. I mean, this one fits perfectly inside of it. And then it's also nice when you have projects that have more than one color to be able to have a yarn bowl for each project. So I'm really loving this present. I'm now going to stick it there. And I'll move it later. Okay, so this is a preview of plans and stuff for the next year. And I thought the easiest way to do that is to go through my bullet journal and then, excuse me, add on the extras. Sorry, I probably should not have gulped like a soda down before starting to film. That was bad planning on my part. I'm so thirsty these days. I'm drinking a ton of water. I've really cut back on soda and other drinks. So, yeah, I am weighing the least that I have since college. Okay, so this is my bullet journal for this year. I ended up buying a different one while at the store, and the reason I did is because this is extra thick paper, and so it doesn't bleed through, which has really been nice. So let's just go through it real quick, and I'll talk about my plans as we do. So the first page is actually for my religious stuff tracking. So I want to read through the standard works in this year. So I printed out a schedule for that. I am behind because I'm behind on everything. It's the 2nd of January and I'm already behind, but I can highlight this and it fit perfectly in here. I just folded it in half. It's for temple work. So yeah, that's that. Nothing much to show there. Then we go on to my future log. And this is where I can put doctor's appointments, work schedules, things for my husband, personal stuff, all that type of thing. And I'll be able to have that handy. So I have 1 page for each month. And right now it's mainly just holidays, school vacations, and birthdays. Because I need to reconcile with my husband because he has most of the plans on his work planner. So I need to be able to write them down in here. But so yeah, I have a page for each one. Behind that, I have a bills tracker, and I haven't filled it out yet because that's personal stuff, and I wanted to show you guys without like showing you guys. So when I did this system in the past, and if you followed my vlog, my channel for a while, you've known I've gone through a lot of different planner types. I started out bullet journaling a while ago. Then I switched to the Happy Planner, and I used that for a couple of years. I've done a tutor planner, which is put out by this woman named Heather Tesco or something like that. And it's, Lily's having a dream. I was trying to see which one. Lily Bean, are you okay, baby? You want to cuddle? You want to come for a cuddle? Are you okay? Okay. So yeah, it's just got like tutor images and stuff like that. I really did enjoy that one. It's one you have to get off of Kickstarter, and I just don't always remember to go on and do that. Then I've done In the Leafy Treetops, which is an LDS based one, or you could get it non-religious. And I used that for 2 years. There's just so many extra pages, though, that it was a bit overwhelming, and I just didn't really use it. And so this year, I really wanted to go back to the bullet journaling, which, like, with every other planner type, I liked that I didn't have to draw out the weekly spreads. And I'm not like those artistic bullet journalists who, like, make really pretty spreads and theme them and everything like that. That's not how I do it. I have a formula I follow, and it's what works for me, but it is a system that really does work for me, I think. It's just when I get lazy about creating the spreads. So, I wanted to come back to it again, and I've been saying that for a couple of years, and this year I decided I am going to go back to it. So, I'm behind because I haven't made this the month or the weekly spread, but I'm behind on everything right now, so I'm doing the best I can. But so when I was using this system before, I had a separate page to track my bills. And so what I do is on the 1st of every month, actually a little bit into the end of the previous month, I'd go through and I'd write down all of the bills and payments and everything like that that was coming up in the month. And then periodically throughout the month, I'd keep track of my bank account, and as it was paid and taken out, I'd highlight it off. So I knew what was coming, and I would also know what's been paid. So that's a system that really kind of works for me for keeping track of my finances and knowing what is outstanding still in this month. Like, so what can I spend and what do I need to not spend? So behind that, I have books read in 2023 I always aim for 100. In the last couple of years, I've not made it because I just have been in major reading slumps. And so I'm hoping by tracking it this way, I will reach that goal. The other thing, and I haven't bought it yet, but I'll put a picture in. I am going to buy this genre tracker. It's a cross-stitch pattern of a bookcase, and each of the genres is a different color. And so you basically, as you finish a book, you color in that genre color. There are 2 bookshelf options. One is for 104 books and one's for 52 books. Because I am really trying to get at least 100, I'm going for that 104. So my goal for this year is 104 books read. I would like to read at least one in each of the genres listed. I might switch horror out for something else. Maybe I'll change it to young adult or something. I don't know. I'm not into the horror genre. Not in movies, not in books. If it was thriller instead of horror, I could get behind that. Sorry, I'm really thirsty. But yeah, so one of my big goals for this year really is to get over 100 books. One of my ultra big goals that I'd like to accomplish sometime, and really, while not working, should have been that time, but I would love to read 250 books in 1 year. That's just, it's for years and years, at least a dozen years, that's been my ultra goal, and I've never come close. Like, I think 150 is about as high as I've ever gotten. So I'd really love to reach that. I don't think this is that year. I was starting a new job and everything, but one of these days I'm going to reach it. The next spread I have is book series tracker, and I haven't written down any of the series yet, but there are several series I'd really like to read, or there's series I'm in the midst of that I want to read the remaining books, and so I'm going to use this page to track that. So I'd like to read basically every Brandon Sanderson this year, which is in part why I will not be able to reach more than 100 books. Some of his monsters are like well over 1,000 pages. So I have several cozy mystery series though that I just have a few books left, so I want to be able to track that. Just some things like that. So that I'll update that page later. It's not important. I just wanted it to have a spot here at the beginning of the bullet journal. Then I have the next set of pages is cross stitches finished and cross stitches started. Each one goes to 38. I honestly don't think I'm going to have more in either category. I don't think I'll have more finishes than 38. I don't think I'll have more starts than 38. I'm really trying not to start too many things, as I'd like to whip down a bit. I have the same thing for knitting and then for crochet, and I'm not going to count individual like washcloths in that category, just like big projects. So there we have it for crochet. Crochet, I'm really not anticipating many starts, but I would like to make some progress on finishes. Next up, we have my Whip Go boards. Now, last year was abysmal. I did very poorly. Here, I have them to show you. So here's my cross stitch one. You can see no bingos. It's very bad. Here are my other 3. So only 3 from the knitting, 0 from crochet, and only 4 bucks. Abysmal, right? So I had 4 Whip Go boards. So you would think, girl, with doing that bad, maybe you should party on your Whip Go boards. That's logical. I give you that. However, I decided to up the game. I have 6 now. So I've changed it up a little bit. Last year for the cross stitch, I wanted to do, so it didn't matter how long or how many stitches, I just wanted to visit them in the month, and then going forward, go back and touch the old ones also. And that was in a hope to try to get my WIPs down. This year, I've decided to go back to aiming for 1,000 stitches. So I have a cross stitch whip go board, a Christmas cross stitch whip go board, and that's because when I pulled my Christmas whips for Vlogmas, I realized like I don't have time in December to work on these Christmas projects, and I love my Christmas projects, and then they don't get worked on throughout the year because it's not Christmas time. So I created a separate board for those Christmas whip go projects. I have a knitting whip go board and a crochet one, and my goal for each of those is 10 hours. So I'm hoping that's doable. Then I have my reading whip go board from the BBC 100 Books to Read in Your Life or something like that. I pulled 25 books from there. Some are ones I've read before. Most are ones I haven't. I tried to work within those parameters. And then I saw a Taylor Swift 2023 reading challenge. And this is the person who created it, and I don't know who did. It was shared on one of my, it's like a reading bullet journal group, or like, yeah. Anyways, so someone shared it there, so I copied it. But so it took 25 of her song titles and made a prompt based off of that. And what I liked about this is it gave some more flexibility in the books I can choose. It just needed to meet the challenge prompt. So I am going to do a separate video based off of my whip go boards that I'm going to film right after this. It should be much shorter. But for example, a couple of the prompts won't be discussed then is like, okay, Tim McGraw, that's the first song that Taylor Swift released, and so you need to read a debut novel. So some author's debut novel, you need to read it. Her song Better Than Revenge, you need to read a book where revenge is the main plot point. Her book, It's Nice to Have a Friend, a book recommended by a friend. So things like that. Paper Rings, it needs to have a ring on the cover. Red needs to have a red cover. So I liked that because, again, there's some flexibility. And sometimes when I'm told what I need to do, that's the last thing I want to do. So when I'm told I need to read The Kite Runner, even though I know I like that book because I read it in college, I believe college. Yeah, I read it in college. I know I liked that book, but I didn't want to read it because the whip go board told me I needed to. So I'm hoping that flexibility will help a little bit. Anyways, so then moving on, this section is for my cross stitch group's yearly challenges. And so the Daily 30 has a challenge that's based off of the Olympics. And so what it's doing is taking the distance between the locations of the Olympics. And this is Summer Olympics, I believe. Hang on, let me see where the last one was. Paris, France, Tokyo. Yeah, Summer Olympics. Yeah, because Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, that was the Summer Olympics. I remember the gymnastics from that one. So it's taking the locations. I don't know what they're dividing it by to get the number of stitches you need to do, but there's some formula they used. Maybe it's 5. I think they're taking the distance and dividing it by 5. And rounding up to the nearest 500, I think. Yeah. Up or down. Nearest 50, sorry, not 500. And so you need to stitch that. You had to pick 4 projects. So I picked 4, and I will share them with you guys now. So the first one I picked was Happily Ever After from Frosted Pumpkin. The reason I picked this is because if you were watching any of my Vlogmas, you may know that I got a new job. I am working in an elementary school library. The library tech, basically the librarian, but because I don't have that degree or whatever, it's a library tech, not a librarian, blah, 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 whatever. So I've been told that I should like kind of try to personalize the library a bit more and make it more welcoming. And I thought what would be really fun is to try to finish some of my story-based cross stitches, try to get them framed, like a frame of myself, and put them up in the library and have it kind of like fairy tale and fiction themed like that. And so I have several Frosted Pumpkin ones, and I'm also kind of thinking I might just try to make a couple of like small quick throw blankets and that type of stuff, just to make it's really kind of a not happy looking place. It's very blue, and I know blue is supposed to be a calming color, and that's why they always pick it, but I mean, there's not a lot of color there at all. And so I was thinking some like granny square type of blankets or other things like that, just strewn over chairs, might make it more welcoming and cozy. So that's some of the things I'm going to be working on this year, is just some projects for the library, just working from stash, not like going out and buying stuff. But I figure I've got a lot of like Caron Simply Soft that's just been sitting here for ages, and I could make those into some fun things. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Yeah. So, without further ado, so there are 3 storybook ones, Happily Ever After, Once Upon a Time, and classic storybooks. I forget what that one's really called. That was like a set of 3 yearly mystery ones, and I've started all 3 of them, but I haven't finished them. I'm not going to finish them this school year, but over the summer even, I'd really like to make them my focus. And so this is the first one, Happily Ever After, and maybe I can finish this one during the school year. It's small enough. So that's why I picked it for this yearly challenge, as I just want to kind of make it a bit of a focus. So that's that one. The next one I have is the Epic Storybook Princesses from Clouds Factory. It is going to take a while for this one to be done, so there's no immediate rush or anything. This is the format I'm using. I need to get a couple more princesses to fill those last 2. But I really love this one. And I've only been working on the castle, but I love how it looks on this blue fabric. It just pops so much. And I think one day this framed will look really nice. I'm still hoping to have a baby someday. My body just hates me, basically, if you haven't been following that saga. Yeah. I'm not going to get into that now. But, if not, this could work in the library. It could work just as a decoration in the house. But, yeah. Would love to make some progress on that one. The next one is Quaker Christmas 2. And this is just because I like this one and I would love to see more progress on it. I really enjoy working on it. It's on black even weave, and I'm stitching it in a DMC green and red. So, and then I've got a metallic that I'm using as well, a gold metallic. So here is what I have done, and I just love it so much. I really do. So in the mock-up of this, the words are in green and the motifs are in red, and they used a fancy floss. I flipped it around because green's my favorite color, so I wanted more green, and I liked having the words stand out in red. And then I'm using a metallic for all of these star and snowflake motifs that are dotted about. And I just really like how that looks, like just a little dot of sparkle. So, yeah, I really want to make more progress on this one. And that's why it is one of the 4 I chose. You have to make progress on each of them, at least 100 stitches between each gold medal. And so periodically, every like 5 cities, there's a gold medal. And when you have a gold medal, you're able to switch out one of the 4 whips if you want to. You can also switch one out if you finish it. And so one of my whips, my last one, I made as a small, so if I'm feeling that urge to switch out, something else is calling me, I could have a quick finish to be able to do that. So let me put this away. And so the final project, number 4, that I chose is my cottages of the month. And I specified that this number 4 is June cottage because I didn't want to like get stuck in a series. It is my plan though to continue the series until I just need a break from it or something. But so here is where my June cottage stands. So the building's completely done. And now I'm just working on the extra parts. This is what it will look like. So I finished the word June. I've started this butterfly, so I'm working on the trees and then the bottom and the top. So not a ton that needs to be done here, but I really would love to finish this series this year. How many are left? So I need to do June, July, August, September, and December. So I finished October. So this year I finished May and November. Last year I finished October. So last year being 2021. In 2022 I finished 2. In 2021 I finished October. So I'd like to get those last 5 done. All of them are started. I just need to finish them. And I'd also have been thinking maybe I'd like those as decorations in the library as well. We start again on Wednesday, and I'm going to look if there's like metal pole or something so I can have the season in the month. So because I have a place here that I can display them, I just don't. And so I'd kind of like to do that there. We'll see. I may just end up refinishing them and putting them in like a picture frame that I just change out. I don't know. I'm just trying to, again, bring some color and life into it. I know that's not really a theme that kids are gonna love or whatever, but they're elementary age kids. I don't know that there really is a calendar theme that they love. So that's just what I'm planning on doing. Katrina can tell me if I'm wrong in the comments. Or if she has some better ideas. Katrina, give me all your ideas. Okay, so the next group whose yearly I put in here, and this took a while to write out, is Magic Stitch Gems 2023 character costumes. So apparently this year is the 100th anniversary for Disney, and there are special costumes for 100 characters. So each character's costume is 500 stitches, and there's no prompt you have to fit, just 500 stitches gets you a costume. So I wrote out my tracker for that, I think the instructions said you didn't have to work it in any particular order. So what I did last year, they had golden statues and it was 1,000 stitches, is I each one had a different whip. Like as I would start a whip or bring one out, I'd put it on the next costume. So I'm hoping that's allowed. I'm going to do that until they tell me I can't. And when I start one, I'm just going to put a little dot in the box to indicate like it has a project assigned to it. And then as I finish it, I'll all the way highlight it in. But that's my plan for that. The next group whose yearly project I have written down is Semi-Sane Stitches. And this is, it's a flower garden one. And so each flower has a different amount of stitches assigned to it. These do not build on each other, despite the final one being worth 50,000 stitches. So, I'm gonna randomly assign whips to places like Epic Disney Princesses. That one might go on one of the higher amounts, like, I don't know, well, I want to, maybe for Quaker Christmas too, I'll do poinsettias, and that's 25,000. And so I don't want to assign all the small amounts immediately and then only be left with the bigs. But like that June Cottage, I'm not even sure there's 1,000 stitches left, so I'll start that one on the 1,000 stitches, and just that type of thing. I hope that makes sense. But okay, in the Extreme Cross Stitch Challenge group, there's 23 and 23, and you're supposed to pick either 23 starts, where you add a minimum of 1,000 stitches, or 23 finishes, where you have to do a minimum of 1,000 stitches. I've decided to go extreme on that and do 23 starts and finishes with 1,000 stitches left. Like, so again, that June Cottage might not be able to count as a finish if there isn't 1,000 stitches left. So I'm gonna put it down with the starting place, but if I end up not having 1,000 stitches, it has to be removed. So that is that group. I didn't write the next two yet, but I meant to. And then that has me in all of the groups for the yearly. And guys, that was a quarter of my bullet journal. There's just over 200 pages, and I am on page 48. Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous when all your setup stuff takes a quarter of a bullet journal, but I think it'll be okay. Yeah, I think it'll be okay, because I prefer to have all my collections at the beginning of a bullet journal, not necessarily spread throughout. And what I'm going to do, I didn't mention this before, I'm going to take some washi tape and put like a little bit on each new section. So the first day for the bills, or the first month for the bills one, I'll put a washi tape there. So I'll be able to quickly flip from section to section. And I'm also going to write the page numbers down in the index. But yeah. So the final one is Portia Parker, I believe. She does the Stitch Talk Hade challenge group, and she also has a Crochet and Chill group. And so for each of those, there is a yearly event, and it's a timed one about walking through Yosemite, maybe. I think it's walking through Yosemite. And it's timed. And so what my plan for that is to pick one crochet project for the crochet one, and one Heaven and Earth design for the cross stitch one, and to use that project to make progress. I wish it could be any cross stitch project, because I'm just not feeling Hade's recently, for several years actually. But it is what it is. So I haven't picked out my Hade yet. I'm leaning towards the Astronomer, possibly, or the Nativity. I don't know. I haven't fully decided, but I will. And then I'll let you guys know. But I need to get started on that pretty soon. But for the crochet one, what I decided to do is to use it to get myself motivated on this granny stripe that I have like the Year of Minis from, and then an advent calendar to add. So this is where I'm at right now. I mean, it's several layers folded up, so this is where I'm at. And so I think I've done spring, summer, and I'm started into fall. I might be like halfway done with fall. So then I've got winter left to add, and I've got the advent calendar left to add. But I'm really enjoying this one. I just never pull it out because none of my crochet for this can count for the Harry Potter school. And so, yeah. So that is what I will be working on that. Speaking of the Harry Potter school, it is basically the 3rd of January now, if I'm being honest. Like, I mean, it's past midnight. And I have yet to look at any of the prompts. So I will do an update on that later, but I am still planning on doing it. It's just not my primary focus for this year, probably. I'd like to make some progress on whips, so I'll do like I have some plans, but it's just not going to be like cross stitch took a total backseat because I was focusing on this so much, and I want to do more cross stitch, and also I'm wanting to do some diamond painting. So yeah, I'm just not going to make this like what everything revolved around like it has been for the last like 2 years. So yeah, let me see if my hot drink is that's perfect. Okay, continuing with journals, and then I'll go on next to a couple other small plans, and then be able to wrap this video up. So you've seen my bullet journal, and last year for Christmas my sister gave me a knitting journal, which I never started because I was planning on making then a similar journal and a bullet journal for cross stitch and one for crochet. But I went on Amazon and I found similar-ish books to this knitting one for crochet and one for cross stitch. And I ordered them, and they're on their way to me and will be here by the end of the week. And so this year I'm really going to try to focus on these books. I'm not going to go through my whole whip stashes and write them in. I am just going to, as I work on something for the first time, add it in. And when I complete a book, I will buy another book. Because, you know, with 200 cross stitch whips, or just under, I think that cross stitch one only fits about 30 or 40 projects. So I'm going to need like 5, 6, 7 of them. I'm not going to buy 7 at one go. What if the one I picked isn't one I want to continue with? Because there was like a dozen options on Amazon for cross stitch journals. So yeah. In my spreadsheet, I'm going to add a column that will tell me that I've put it in the journal. And then I'm not sure how the cross stitch journal is. I'm hoping that there's a note page. But in the knitting one, there's like a blank page next to the project page. And I'm going to write date and either how much time I spent or 20 rounds completed or things like that. Like a note to know how much I've done. And yeah, I just want to keep track of that kind of thing. So that is that. And then I'll show the cross stitch one and the crochet one when they come. I'm also finally going to use one of my Lord of the Rings journals I bought a few years ago. And I've been hoarding it because it's so pretty. Like, it's so pretty. But what's the point of having something and never using it, right? So I'm going to use this actually for the Harry Potter knitting and crochet group. And so I'll be able to have plenty of space to keep each term, the monthly challenges, the term long challenges, the Quidditch challenges, all those kind of challenges in here and have it all in one place. And so each term I'll do again with a sticky note and have it separated. So I'll be able to easily, quickly find them. So that is my planner plans. One of the next big plans is sock related. So I got this. This is an ornament storage box. I know. Someone in the Bakery Bears group knit themselves 24, 25 pairs of socks over the course of the year. And so that's become the challenge this year. Well, she said she didn't specify a number. She just said knit as many as you can. And you can use whips. So what I wanted to do then was I wanted to knit 24 or 25 pairs of socks, wrap them in Christmas paper as I finish them, and I'm only counting ones for myself, which, considering I only have like 3 pairs for myself, this is like kind of a big thing. But then wrap them and randomly open them during the Advent season. So each day I'd have a new pair of socks that I made. So each month I need to knit 2, and 2 months I need to knit like an extra one so that I'm not, so December's, I have at least 6 started. So they're not all going to be new starts. So, yeah. So this is my big knitting goal for this year. And because of that, I know that I'll be able to fit projects into the Harry Potter knitting and crochet school thing without it having to be a big focus where I'm making that my whole goal is around it. So yeah. The other thing is I really want to do Desert Vista Dye Works, where you do 1 full pair of socks in their yarn every month through the year, and then you get like a couple free skeins, or 1 free skein. I don't know. I have, I think, 7 skeins of their yarn, so I still need to order 5 more. I have not knit, crocheted, or cross-stitched in almost a week, which means I have not yet done my New Year's New Start for anything. Life has just been busy. If you want to know how busy, listen to the ramble that went on for ages in the 2022 wrap-up. Life has just been so crazy. I did, however, pull out yarn and a pattern to do a New Year's New Start. So even though it won't be on New Year's Day, I'm still going to count it because life has been crazy. But the other thing I want to do is I have a ton of patterns that I just haven't knit. And so I'd like to also work through patterns and stash. So this it's caked up already. But this is actually Gone with the Wind. Yeah, Gone with the Wind. Does this say how many stripes? No, it doesn't. That's okay. So I'm going to be doing Gone with the Wind, and the pattern I'm going to do is called Stacks of Books by Sock Witchery. And I picked it because Gone with the Wind is a book, so I'm associating it with that. I think some of my other skeins from her are like, I think I have Central Perk. I've got a Scooby-Doo one. I want to buy more in the Scooby-Doo series, so that's one of my plans, is to buy like maybe the whole collection. I don't know. I really like that collection. I've already done the Hobbit one, but the dogs chewed on the cuff of that one. Don't even talk to me about it, okay? Just don't. I have, I think this is the only book related one, to be honest. So that's why I picked Stack of Books for it. I think, I mean, aside from, so that'll be 12 of the 24, although actually that 12th one won't be included because that'll be in December, so I'm not including December socks. So 11 of the 24 will be these Desert Vista Dye Works ones, and then I'd like to just try to fit in, I think, so that will be 11. 6 are ones I've already started, which takes us to 17, which leaves 8 randoms. And so there's some like Crazy Sock Lady patterns that wouldn't necessarily suit self-striping, or some Bakery Bear patterns which again wouldn't suit self-striping, that I want to fit in from my stash. Some Curious Handmade from when I did her sock collections, and I've never actually knit a pattern from them. So yeah, that's just kind of where that's at and my big plan with that. Speaking of New Year's New Start, I picked cross stitch pattern for it too. Haven't done it yet, but I've been toying with 2 options. This first one is this Rivendell pattern that is charted. I bought it off of Bootsy, I believe. And I use Cross Stitch Saga, the app, to do this one. It came with a Saga file, so I'll be able to do that. It's a really cool software. It's mainly for Russian designs, and some Ukrainian designers use it. So yeah, I did pull out a light blue 18 count. It's hard to tell that that's light blue, but it is. To work that on, I was gonna like just start working on it and not grid. I don't know, maybe I'll still do that. Who knows? So that was option 1. My second option was Little Red Riding Hood Parade, which I have the full kit too. So I might just start both of those. Who knows? But again, I haven't started my New Year's New Start because I've just been so busy. So, yeah, that's my other big plan. I have a few other smaller goals. I'd like to make a, I'd like to use a skein of cotton every week. So that'll make a bit more than 52, but I need to work through my giant, like, you can see over here, that's how far up the pile goes. It's not even contained in the basket anymore. I cannot access a few drawers that have finishes and new starts because the pile is so high. It just needs to go down. And the problem is I keep buying cotton yarn. I really am like just kind of addicted to buying cotton yarn. specifically for dishcloths. We were at Hobby Lobby and I bought probably like 15 to 20 new skeins of cotton yarn. They were on sale, so I had to get them. I don't know. Ridiculous explanations ensue. So I need to get that number down. What I might do is actually go through and count how many skeins I have at present and try to do. Nitty Natty she wanted to completely eliminate her yarn stash, which just saying it horrifies me. Like, oh, I wanted to be supportive. I mean, I'm just a random viewer, but everyone in the comments section is like, oh, I so admire you, blah, 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 like that. The thought of it just horrifies me. Like, being someone who didn't work during the pandemic because I quit to find a new job, and then the pandemic happened, like, the very last day of my job, not having a stash to be able to fall back on is just so scary. Like, I stash for my retirement so that when I can't buy, I will have something to fall back on. And so the thought of just completely eliminating, and she got down to one skein. The thought of just completely eliminating my stash is so horrifying. Like, it just fills me with anxiety, which is completely ridiculous. I know that that's ridiculous, but it does. But anyways, so I would like to cut my cotton yarn stash probably in half. So maybe what I'll do is go through and count how much I have and give like a monthly update on my stash and be hopefully able to report like 5 less skeins or something. Oh, so good. So that's one plan. The other plan is I want to work more on my project bags. I need to get this room rearranged. I'd hoped to do it in this last break, but now it might be a spring break project. I don't know, because my sewing machine that my husband bought me is downstairs taking up room on the dining room table, and it needs to come up here. So some stuff needs to happen. We'll figure it out as we go along, right? So, yeah, project bags is another big priority. I have a few quilts that need to be done. My husband and I desperately need me to finish his quilt because my quilt, my very first quilt that we have on our bed, well, for one thing, it was made for the dimensions of a full size, and so it doesn't really fit our bed. There's no hangover at all. But also it's because our dogs lay on top of the blankets, when we pull up, the seams get kind of like ripped at a little bit from the strain. And so it's just become worn. And so we need me to finish the quilt so we can put a new quilt on the bed. So yeah, I need to finish that. My sister's graduation quilt, and she graduated a little while ago, needs to be finished, and just some things like that. So I have projects that need doing. Did I have any other plans? I mean, I have some diamond paintings I want to do. One of the things that's coming in the mail is a diamond painting like case. And so, yeah. I think that's really my big goals and plans for the year. I will hopefully come back on the weekend with a January plans and goals video. I know that will be well into January, like a weekend, but I'm hoping to do a video like that every month. Just because I'm in so many different challenge groups, I thought it would be fun to make monthly plans. And then I am hoping to do weekly vlog updates. Just make it, I mean, I get done with work at 3:15, so it should be something I'm able to do in the afternoon. So, yeah, that's just some of my goals. I will, of course, be hoping to have a better Vlogmas in 2023 where I don't just fall off the radar. Yeah, so this is like an hour long almost, and I have one more video I need to record before I can go to sleep. So I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.